Fam, what's good? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Insider. Really excited to announce that Bama Insider has joined the On3 network. Really excited. Myself, Andrew Bone will be joining Clint Lamb, Jimmy Stein, the great crew at On3. So we are really excited about that news. Again, Bama Insider is now a part of the On3 network, and we have a ton of videos coming your way. Can't wait to talk Alabama football. My role will stay the same. I'm going to be a content creator right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. We're going to have Andrew Bone tonight. I'm going to talk state of the program tonight. I have some exciting things that I have been working on that I want to showcase you guys, and really excited about joining the On3 network. My role will be the senior director of YouTube operations, which means that I get to help other YouTube channels within the On3 network grow. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. You've seen the growth of the Alabama YouTube channel, so I get to dive into other YouTube channels and help them grow as well. So really excited about that, and really excited about this opportunity. It's been something that I've worked really hard for, and anytime that you get a call from the higher ups at On3, people who you've looked up to, it's really an honor. So I'm going to have Andrew Bone join us in just a minute, and I want to get to some slides, and I want to talk Alabama football. Again, the Crimson Tide will hold its first practice on Thursday. We are also going to have a media availability with Nick Saban on Wednesday. And if I can get a Roll Tide in there, I know it's like it's late night. We got 64 on. This isn't the Pac-12, right? This isn't the Pac-12 After Dark. This is Bama Insider After Dark. So I want to run through some slides. I put up some slides today. Let me get those to you, and we'll kind of just like walk through some of these slides that I put, and we'll wait for Andrew Bone. But I wanted to go through basically the offense. And as you can see, I drew up the offensive game plan today of what it could look like. Again, Nick Saban would be pissed if, he sees this depth chart. But I went ahead and went through it. And, there's one depth chart that is provided, actually. And as you can see, we'll zoom on to kind of the outside, and then we'll kind of work our way in. And that's provided for the first game of the actual season. That's at Monday. So as you can see, I have Tyler Harrell at that Z position on the outside. A Z position is going to be someone that you can move around the field. Obviously, you have Cameron too, and I think there's some smoke going around that he's injured. We'll ask Nick Saban about that during Thursday's press conference. Here's the offensive line. Let me know what you think about the offensive line inside the comment box, and I'll have Chris, our producer, in the back. Go ahead and put the timestamps in this video so we can go ahead and get to where we need to be, build out the chapters. Do you think this is going to be Alabama's offensive line against Utah State? Tyler Steen, J.C. Latham on the outside, Cohen, Emil Ekiyor, Seth McLaughlin. And the reason that we put McLaughlin at the center position is because Bryce Young had some great things to say about him early on. As you can see, there's Bryce Young, QB1, with Jahmyr Gibbs, the Georgia Tech transfer. Can't wait to see him really get after it this season. And then when you look to the outside, you have Jermaine Burton, kept him at the X, and usually that's your number one wide receiver, right? That's going to be somebody who is very impactful. And then you have JoJo Earl. And I think JoJo Earl, what we saw from him during the spring game, is something to be very, very excited about. So there's kind of the offensive overview. Again, I'll put other players within that. I'll show number two. I'll swap players out, and I'll even build out some new formations. This is, as you can imagine, this took a little bit of time to do, but let's look at the defensive side and kind of go through the defense. And let me actually look at this text real quick. Just got a text from Shannon Terry. I mean, it's really an honor to get a text from Shannon Terry. I've only received one plaque. And I think, I look back, and this plaque was when I started NM Preps. And this is a New Mexico high school site way back in 2006. And I got to 100 subscribers, and I got a plaque from Shannon Terry. And I never met Shannon up until recently, but I was like, man, like, those are the type of people that I want to be around. Those are the type of people I want to emulate myself. And obviously, if you followed my career, if you follow my video, I'm very passionate about what I do. I always want to bring the best. I always want to take things to the next level. So having the opportunity to be with On3 again is really, really incredible. So let's look at the projected defense. right here, I like this setup for Alabama specifically because when you have William Anderson and you have Dallas Turner on the edge, I think that is going to be such an incredible tandem for the Crimson Tide. I think it's going to be the most feared tandem in all of college football. You got Justin Ebogbe, Byron Young, Tim Smith, and I think you could swap out a lot of these guys with the interior. I think Alabama is going to have a lot to work with in that sense, and I think that's going to be one of their strengths as well is their depth. Now you have Jalen Moody, and you could probably circle him in terms of is he going to be that inside linebacker that Alabama can rely on, along with Henry Toto coming back with a lot of experience. I put Eli Ricks and Kyrie Jackson each at that corner position because I think that's going to be a position battle. Of course, you got DeMarco Helms, very, very talented. Then you have Jordan Battle, one of the team leaders, and then you have Kool-Aid, JaQuincy McKinstry, I think the best name in all of college football on that defensive side. So when you look to the projected defense, here's how things look, and we'll wait for Andrew Bone. What's good, everybody? I appreciate you guys joining me right here on our YouTube channel. I know it's midnight. I know it's but it's not the Pac-12 after dark. What's up? Thanks for joining us. And again, we are now part of the On3 network, Bama Insider, part of the On3 network. Really excited about that opportunity for our company. And we're taking that name over to On3. As we continue to look through the slides, and I'll have Chris again put in the timestamps, and then I'll take some questions during this video as well. Here's the Alabama football coaches. There's a couple names to introduce you to. You're probably used to a couple of them. But I think the most important thing when you look at the Alabama football coaches is that you have Pete Golding and Bill O'Brien returning for this coming season. Nick Saban hit on that during SEC media days and said that, it's been a while since the OC and the DC have returned to the Crimson Tide, right? Under Nick Saban. I mean, since I've been here, there's always been a new OC for the most part. After Lane Kiffin left, and to see Bill O'Brien coming back, I think that's going to add a lot of continuity to the offensive side of the ball. Coach Hutzler coming in, Robert Gillespie, he's been here. This will be his second season. Charles Kelly's been here for quite a bit. Freddie Roach, of course, he's been at Alabama, but he's coaching the defensive line. T-Rob coming in from Miami. Some of these guys have there was a lot of ties to South Carolina. I thought that was interesting. Eric Wolford is a guy who I think is going to do a really good job with Alabama's offensive line. And then Coach Joe Cox working with the tight end. So there's a look at Alabama's football coaches. Here's the Alabama football schedule. Here's the football schedule going into the 2022 season. I'll zoom in just a little bit more. You have Utah State. You have the game against Texas. I think everybody's looking forward to those first two games. I'm honestly just looking forward to the first practice because that's when the college football season is finally here. Really, when Nick Saban has his Nick Kids event on that Wednesday, then it's go time. But I mean, I'm always amped up, ready to go. You have Louisiana Monroe, you have Vanderbilt, Alabama takes care of those teams. Then you have a good one against Arkansas. Remember that game against Arkansas last year? I mean, that was a close game. I mean, in terms of there was so many points, and I thought Arkansas under Sam Pittman. I think that's a tough team. You have Texas A&M on the back of that, which I think is going to be also challenging. Those are two physical games back to back. A trip to Knoxville, Tennessee. Tennessee's amped up about their team. Mississippi State, Coach Leach, we got a chance to hear from him during SEC Media Days. Always fun to hear from him. He was talking about Netflix and a variety of topics, of course. Open week is just before the LSU game. I think it comes at the perfect time before Alabama goes take on Brian Kelly. And then you got another road trip to Ole Miss, to Oxford, to take on Lane Kiffin. You got Austin Peay, and then you have the Auburn Tigers in Tuscaloosa, SEC championship game back at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's always been there, of course, but on December 3rd. Kind of rounding out the state of the program. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Insider. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Again, Bama Insider is now a part of the On3 network. So really, really excited about that. Fall practice does start Thursday. Yes, you are correct. So Alabama will hold its first practice of the college football season on Thursday. We will keep you posted on news and notes that surround practice. Alabama will have Nick Saban speak on Wednesday at Nick's Kids, and then once again on Thursday as Coach Saban will hit the podium. And then on Sunday will be media day. So Sunday morning will be media day. You'll also hear from Nick Saban. You'll hear from Pete Golding, and you will hear from Bill O'Brien as well. Let's look at, I think I have one more slide in here. This is about the offensive line. And I'll zoom in so we can hear. This is everybody. I put everybody on Alabama's offensive line in here. And the players that I circled are players that I want to highlight that I think really have an opportunity, this coming season. Now, if I didn't, like, for example, I didn't highlight Brockemeyer, but that doesn't mean that I don't, think that he's going to contribute in some way. These are the players that I circled for specific reasons. I think Damian George up at the top left. I think he's a player that could certainly get on the field a lot of reps potentially this year. Down at the bottom, Cohen, I think he's clearly going to be a starter. You have J.C. Latham, Seth McLaughlin, players who I think are going to be starters for Alabama. Kendall Randolph, I think you have to circle him as well. Comes back with a ton of experience. Alabama likes him as a tight end in those heavy packages. And then Tyler Booker, Tyler Steen, and Emil Ekiyor, all players who are certainly going to get a lot of opportunities. And I'm really curious about Tyler Steen, going into the season. I mean, I saw some photos just recently of him. Really, really excited. And look who it is, my boy, my main man in action, Andrew Bone, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Bone? How you been, man?
I've been good. Just dropped our first insider report on the Alabama On3 site, which is BamaInsider.com. So you guys be sure to go check that out. The absolute latest news after a big recruiting weekend in Tuscaloosa. Latest on Keon Keeley, the 5-star edge rusher, Notre Dame commitment. Ty Lockwood, who is just comes off his visit with Alabama after earning an offer, Ohio State commitment. Talking about him, a lot of other guys, including the latest with Tony Mitchell, Kelby Collins, and many more. All that's on the Alabama site right now. So very excited about joining On3. This has been kind of a long time coming. We were extremely excited about the opportunity to work with Shannon Terry, and certainly excited about the future.
Here with Andrew Bone. Again, we have joined the On3 network and really excited for that opportunity. Chris, if you could bring up Alabama's class of 2023 so we can kind of look at it. This is the first chance that we've had to really dive into this particular set of rankings on On3 and kind of go through the list. If you could minimize that other banner so we can have a better access look at it. The Crimson Tide, when you look at the state of the program, you look at this recruiting class, number one across the board, Bone. And when you kind of, look at this class, give me, your assessment of, the class that Nick has put together, thus far. I mean, it's we just hit August 1st, and you can zoom in just a little bit more, Chris, on those and bring it up. And as you can see, Bone, this class is absolutely loaded. Go ahead, take it away.
I bet Alabama fans like these rankings a little bit more. Obviously, we kind of went into the summer months knowing that things were going to change. Alabama only had 3 or 4 commitments going into the month of June. We kept telling everybody, be patient, and of course, everybody started freaking out when kids weren't committing after their very first visit to Tuscaloosa or their very first official visit. They were waiting until after all their visits. We said, let all the visits happen, and then once the dust kind of settles, we're going to start seeing some big commitments happen. Of course, you never know what's going to happen in this day and age on the recruiting front. But we felt really confident about a lot of these guys going into the summer, and Alabama was able to land some major targets, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you look at at the quarterback position, we talked about Eli. Excuse me. Talked about Eli Holstein, Dylan Lonergan. Running backs, what an unbelievable two-headed monster for the Crimson Tide with Richard Young, Justice Haynes. Just a remarkable job there by Alabama running backs coach Robert Gillespie. Obviously, he's not the only one that recruits those guys, but he played obviously a major role. And then offensive line, what a group so far with Rock McElderry. You also have Olas Alinen and also, Wilkin Formby. So you got three really good offensive linemen. I still think they're going to add a couple more potentially over the course of the next few weeks. And then, defense side of the ball, still looking for some defensive line commitments. We went into this recruiting cycle saying that defensive line, very important position of need for Alabama in this class. Now, I don't think Alabama's going to be waiting too long for its first defensive line commitment to jump on board. I think we're going to see something happen later on today. It's Monday, so we're going to be watching Hunter Osborne's announcement. In-state defensive lineman from Hewitt-Trussville. He's going to be announcing his decision at 6 p.m. And I have a prediction in for Alabama for Hunter Osborne. So a lot of other guys that we're thinking are very close to making decisions. Kelby Collins out of Gardendale, he's getting very close. Edric Hill out of Kansas City, he's close. Jordan Renaud, defensive end out of Texas, he's also getting very close to making decisions. So I do think once we kind of get into September, maybe even mid-September, we're going to see 3 or 4 defensive line commitments on board for the Tide. Now, linebacker wise, still going after some big names. Keon Keeley was in Tuscaloosa this past weekend. Centurion Perkins, the Ole Miss linebacker commitment, still a prime target for the Tide that I feel like will eventually, or at least they got a really good chance to eventually flip him. And then obviously Quay Russo, in-state linebacker out of Carver. He's not going to announce a decision anytime soon. He's going to wait all the way until December. And then, I think as far as defensive backs go, I mean, what an unbelievable defensive back group Alabama's been able to sign. That's obviously the best part about their defensive unit right now is that defensive back class, with Caleb Downs, the top safety in the country, 5-star Jahil Hurley, you have 5-star Tony Mitchell. I mean, just an incredible group of guys. You also have Brayson Hubbard, a guy that, came to camp, nobody knew about him, had a unbelievable performance and ran a 4.50 in the 40. And, there was a lot of really talented defensive backs, a lot of safeties, a lot of really talented safeties that attended Alabama's camp last month, throughout the entire month. And after Alabama saw Brayson Hubbard compete, I mean, he earned an offer pretty quickly. I mean, this wasn't an offer that, happened, after some guys made decisions for elsewhere. I mean, this was early on in June. Earned a committable offer based on his performance. Had never played safety before attending Alabama's camp, and then that's that should say a lot about what Alabama thinks about Brayson Hubbard. And then a few weeks ago, Alabama picked up their one and only special teams player in this class, in Connor Talty out of Chicago, place kicker. So far, so good for the Tide. I mean, obviously they've missed on a few players. That's going to happen when you offer. Of course, you may see an offer list that says 175 kids, but Alabama really has offered that have green lights to commit. Probably around 55, 65 players. Between 55, 65 players in each recruiting class. You're going to miss on some guys. You don't want to miss on the guys that you really want, obviously, but there's always going to be some misses. But as long as you're continuing to hit on the majority of your targets and you're continuing to meet your needs in the recruiting class, that's what really matters. Losing a target here and there, not really going to affect things that much. But as we all know, there's always kids who flip. So we know that Alabama is going to continue to recruit a lot of those guys who've made decisions elsewhere this summer, and I think they're closing in on a few guys who will likely flip to Alabama in the next few weeks.
Here with Andrew Bone, a Bama Insider. Again, Bama Insider, the name. We have moved to the On3 network. Really excited about that opportunity. Bone and I continue to work together again. And if you're out there and you're already a subscriber of the channel, I am not allowed to post on the message board. That's part of my contract. Bone is going to follow Bone in terms of the message board usage. So if you want to talk to me, come to YouTube, give me a call, and we can talk on the call-in shows, or you can hit me up on the chat on here. So if you're just wondering about that, just wanted to make that clear. Bone, another guy I want to talk to you about, somebody just asked. So we have Osborne who's committing today. This is gonna be a long day, fam. Okay, so just hang with us.
We're up. I
Mm.
mean, this is it. We're up for the day.
This is it. This is it. But we have Ty Lockwood. A lot of people are asking about him, curious about him. Chris, go ahead and add him to the screen. What's kind of the latest on this tight end committed to Ohio State? There's smoke. There's usually fire. What's the latest here?
Well, Ty Lockwood made a surprise visit to Alabama on Thursday, spent a few days in Tuscaloosa, and earned an offer from Nick Saban on Friday. And there's been obviously some chatter on message boards, and we know that he enjoyed his trip. I think he's going to take a little bit of a step back over this weekend, kind of take a little bit of a breather. But I think that Alabama has done a really good job in a short time period to really make a strong impression on Ty Lockwood. So we're going to be watching Ty very closely in the coming days to see if anything might happen. As many people know, we're now back into the dead period. All these different kids are getting ready for the start of their senior season, their final season of high school football, and we're probably going to see some decisions happening over the course of the next couple weeks leading into the season. Most of the guys that are going to wait right now, as far as if you don't make a decision in the month of August, you typically aren't going to make a decision until December. So we're probably going to see several guys wait until December, but there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be making decisions over the course of the next few weeks. I think Alabama's got a pretty good chance to end up with maybe sitting at 20 commitments before the start of the season. I think that they've got some guys that they're closing in on pretty fast, and I think we're going to see some more big commitments. I mean, it was an incredible month for Alabama on the recruiting front. I mean, from the 2023 class and 2024. I mean, Alabama has 3 commitments in 2024 right now, which included 2 commitments over the course of the last week. I think it was 9 total, or maybe 8 total guys in the 2023 class who committed to Alabama, which obviously included a lot of big names, that really helped move Alabama to that top spot right now on the On3 rankings.
Bone, as you mentioned earlier, are these highlights? What are these highlights of? I think these are Ty, right? Okay.
Yep.
But before we get to these highlights, I wanted to point out something real quick, Bone. We're gonna go back to so hold that there, Chris. Hunter Osborne. Another thing that's really cool about the On3 database, and when I'm an analytics guy. So let's basically go back to Alabama. Let's kind of look at let's do Jahil Hurley, for example. You click on him. When it auto populates, one of the cool things about this, and I love this fact, is you can click on industry comparison right here, and it shows you, where everybody has him ranked, for example, right? So you have On3, ESPN, 24/7, and Rivals, and I think that it gives you a really good gauge about these overall players, and then it gives you the On3 consensus. So when you look to these specific players within the database, I think it's just more data points for us to kind of look at. I love the industry comparison, and you can check that out when you go through the database. So really cool when you look at kind of the overall numbers, and it's just kind of fun to point out. Bone, I mean, before we let you go, I know you're fired up. I know, like, you've always had, you've always brought it. You're excited. What does it mean to you, real quick? I mean, and I know you're grateful to Rivals. I know you're grateful to Scout, because I've seen you. Honestly, I've seen your career grow. I mean, we've seen each other age gracefully over the years. And I mean, what does it mean to you to be a part of the On3 network now?
Well, it's exciting. I mean, you're part of a company that is very driven, is very pumped about the future, is investing a lot of resources in putting out the best product possible. And there's a lot of great people at a lot of networks. I mean, there's great people at On3. There's great people at Rivals. There was great, back in the day at Scout, there were great people there, and obviously they gave me my first opportunity, and had a chance to work for the Tuscaloosa News for several years. And my career has been, fantastic. I mean, I've been very fortunate and, just very excited about, what the future of coverage for Alabama recruiting is going to entail, because I've seen so many different changes through the years. I mean, I started covering Alabama football recruiting in 2000 and in the fall of 2003, which was my freshman year in college, working at Scout.com as a true freshman. So there's been a lot of changes. It was social media at one point. There wasn't social media. I remember I was uploading all my all highlight tapes from different kids who were sending me. I mean, I don't want to date myself, but I was getting VHS tapes sent to my house,
Of course. Yeah.
not really having a clue how to even upload them. I would do my best, but I'm sure there's some kids from, I guess, that are now probably pretty close to my age who were like, man, my highlight video on Scout back in the day, it was 100 miles an hour, or it was going in slow motion. For some reason, I could never get it right. So I remember when Rivals came after me and they said, "Oh, we've got our own video team." I said, "Well, I'm sold on that. I'm coming over there." But that was a challenge. Trying to upload 50 highlight videos a week. So I had a lot of respect for guys who are working on the highlight videos. Of course, then Huddle came around, and that changed a lot, because you can just link their Huddle highlights. That wasn't around, but that wasn't around forever. That just came around, in the last 10 years. And obviously, we've seen social media. It was Facebook at first, and it became Twitter and Instagram, and every kid decided to release all their information that way. But now it's NIL, it's conference expansion, it's just a lot of different things that are going on. That it's there's always going to be changes, but as long as you can kind of stay on that track and continue to cover it and continue to cover it, in a good way, I think a lot of people are going to continue to follow us, and continue to follow, and not continue to follow, but continue to enjoy,
Yeah.
the product that we put out, because there's always going to be changes, but a lot of times it's for the good.
Yeah, a lot of changes, but greatness stays the same, right? Hey, Bone, and it probably helps you had a good boss, I would assume, right?
Yeah, he wasn't too bad. He wasn't too hard on me.
All right, you go take care of that beautiful baby boy. I'll let you go. Great work. Again, um, Andrew and I are now part of the On3 network. Bone, I would say I catch up with you in the morning, but I mean we're working all day today. What a blessing. This is a
That's right.
blessing. It's a blessing.
Well,
Opportunity.
yeah. So On3, we're excited to be a part of it, and like I said, Insider Report just dropped on Bama Insider this evening, so check it out.
All right, Bone. I don't know if you're gonna sleep or whatever you're gonna do, but
I hope so.
we'll catch up with you, man. All
All
right.
right,
All right.
thanks again. See ya.
Andrew Bone, ladies and gentlemen, man, he's just good vibes. I just, always fun to rap with Bone. Okay, I wanted to show you one more thing about these about On3's NIL package. This is amazing. This is one thing that I really like. The NIL and the overall database is so data driven. It has so many analytic components. So when you look to the On3 NIL valuation, the first thing that you have to know, and one thing that I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and read through it about NIL valuations, because it's not the overall valuation. It's based on a set time for roughly 9 to 12 months. And there's some key bullet points right here that go into the algorithm to build up the NIL valuation, performance, influence, exposure, etc. And it's really cool to kind of get an understanding of this. And then when you piece it back together and you come back and you look at Bryce Young, the NIL valuation of 3.1 million, it's pretty phenomenal to see just where we're at in the world of college athletics. And then when you click on the NIL 100, you see where Bryce is compared to other players. You have Bronny James, clearly. I think I might be. Oh, there we go. Maybe zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, Bronny James, clearly, up at the top of the list, and an estimated value of 6.4 million. He's got 6.4 million followers on Instagram and 5.5 million on TikTok. I'm sure everybody likes to see Bronny James throw it down right out of Sierra Canyon. Arch Manning is second, and then you have Bryce Young. I think those are interesting numbers, and then you can kind of scroll down the list, get a taste of what other athletes in sport are at the top of the list. So I really love all the analytic components of this database, and I think it's certainly you can get lost in it, right? I mean, there's just so much data to kind of go around, and I think it's certainly something that you could have fun with, and check it out whenever you get a chance. My name is Kyle Henderson, a Bama Insider. I really appreciate you guys being with us, being a subscriber of our YouTube channel. And one of the things that I always say during my videos is we appreciate you, because without you, we wouldn't exist. So we understand the value of your subscription to us here on YouTube. Thank you for supporting our move from Rivals to the On3 network. There's tons of great people that work at On3, and I have to say that I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I had at Rivals. I mean, I've been with Rivals for 16 years. I mean, I was in college when I started working for when I started my own website, and that was something that I always wanted to do, was work for myself, and I did that, and it led to other opportunities. And I think that I've seen good things happen when you grind. And I've mentioned, there's been times where we've had to kind of hone in and work on that craft, and I feel that we're at a really good spot, and I feel really blessed to be in this position, and I can't wait to contribute at an even higher level. I just want to take it as far as we can go. So inching close to 75,000 subscribers. The goal is 100,000 subscribers, but we're going to keep pushing it from there. So want to jump on at midnight, because we couldn't talk about joining On3 until August 1st, which is August 1st now. So if you're confused on why we're coming Pac-12 style after dark, that's why. Follow me on YouTube right here on our YouTube channel, which is Bama Insider. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We really appreciate you guys being a part of us right here. Bama Insider now on the On3 network. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. I hope you get some sleep. You got a big day coming your way. It's going to be a big week. You got potentially 2 commitments. You got Nick Saban 3 times this week. You got Pete Golding, you got Bill O'Brien, you got practice footage, you got player interviews on Thursday. The list goes on and on. If you missed it, we're going to add the timestamps within this screen. Within this video, so you can go back and check it out. Before I go, I'll run through the formations one more time that I put together for you guys to check out. And I had fun really doing this. I mean, it took a long time kind of building out these projected depth charts, but now that I kind of have the hang of it, I think it's going to be pretty cool to be able to spot shadow some of these guys. And specifically when we have Pro Football Focus ratings, I think we can pair these up nicely. Tyler Harrell on the outside, of course, Jermaine Burton on the far right, and then here's the interior offensive lineman along with the tackles. Here's Bryce Young. If we scroll over, we can now see the defense. Jordan Battle, DeMarco Helms at the safety spots. You got your inside linebackers. Here's that tandem of Dallas Turner and William Anderson. The position battle potentially on that. Let's see if I can know what happened here. There we go. Eli Ricks and Kyrie Jackson. And then when we look at the Alabama football coaches, we already spot shadowed that along with the Alabama football schedule. And then we pointed out the offensive line. And again, we'll put all the timestamps in this video so you guys can go check it out and enjoy this video when you guys can slow it down. Yeah, no, Brooks, look, and I think that, it's not the for sure depth chart. It's just, piecing stuff together. Those are the players that I put out there. Of course, Nick Saban would be pissed if, we're talking depth chart at August 1st at, 12:30 a.m. Hey, fam, have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll be back throughout the day talking more Alabama football. I think there's going to be some good news coming your way later today right here on our YouTube channel. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is Kyle Henderson, a Bama Insider, now part of the On3 network. Have a good night, fam.